Ready to dive into something that seems like it's absolutely everywhere these days. Manifestation.
It really is everywhere.
Feels like everyone's trying to manifest something, right? Like trying to find a little magic.
It's definitely got that appeal, that's for sure.
You know, we like to explore things here, and you sent over some excerpts from Mastering Manifestation, and I gotta say, just skimming it, I'm already kind of hooked.
Well, it's popular for a reason, right?
Right.
There's just something so empowering about this idea that we've got more control than we think, you know?
Absolutely. So for anyone listening who's maybe not familiar with this whole law of attraction thing, can you give us the quick version?
Absolutely, yeah. So chapter 1, it jumps right in and says it's all about like attracts like. Like our thoughts, our feelings, even those deep down beliefs we have, they're all like energetic magnets.
Right.
And they're pulling in experiences that match their vibes.
So it's deeper than just like think happy thoughts then.
Yay!
Way deeper. A lot of people, they hear law of attraction and think it's as simple as like think positive, good things happen.
Yeah.
But it's so much more nuanced than that. It's about aligning your energy so you're vibrating on the same level as what you want becoming a match.
Becoming a vibrational match. Okay, now that's interesting. So what does that actually mean? Break that down for me a little.
Think of it like tuning into a radio station. If you want to listen to a specific station, you can't just like hope it plays.
Right.
You have to adjust that dial until you hit the right frequency.
Yeah. It's the same with the stuff we want in life. We've got to get our energy lined up to match the frequency of what we're trying to attract.
Okay, now that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see how it'd be tough to manifest something if you're coming from a place of, I need this thing. You're not exactly matching that already having it energy, are you?
Exactly. And chapter 3 gets into this whole thing about setting intentions. The book makes it clear you got to be specific. Just vaguely wanting something, not going to cut it.
So like, I want a better job, nice thought, but what does that even mean, really?
Exactly. The universe is like, cool, but I need an address, not just a general direction.
Right.
What kind of work actually gets you excited? What would the company culture feel like? The kind of place you'd actually want to show up to every day. Those are the details we need.
Like programming a GPS, right? You got to give it the exact coordinates, not just head west or something.
Exactly. And once you've got those clear intentions set, the book talks about really stepping into the feeling of already having it. That's where visualization comes in. Chapter 4 goes deep on that.
Oh yeah, vision board time. I have to admit, this is the part that always feels a little, I don't know, out there to me. But the book is really big on making those visualizations like super vivid, almost like you can reach out and touch them.
And it's not about pretending you're living in a fantasy world or anything. It's more like you're training your mind to focus on what you do want.
Okay.
And that alone helps shift your energy in a powerful way.
So if I'm picturing myself, I don't know, living in that amazing beach house, I'm not just daydreaming. I'm actually rewiring my energy to match that reality. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. It's like a mental rehearsal for your dream life.
Ooh, I like that. But with all this intention setting, visualization, all that, does it mean we just like sit back and wait for the magic to happen?
That's where chapter 5 comes in and it gets real.
Okay.
The book is very clear. Manifestation isn't about just wishing on a star. It takes action, but, and this is key, aligned action.
Aligned action, okay.
Yeah.
So what does that look like in real life?
Let's say you're trying to manifest, I don't know, a thriving online business, right?
Okay, yeah.
Aligned action might mean researching different online store platforms, maybe taking a course on digital marketing, or even just connecting with other people doing the same thing. It's taking those steps that get you closer, but in a way that lines up with where you want to end up.
So it's like, it's still about taking those steps toward your goal, but doing it from a place that already feels like you're on the right path.
Exactly. You got to marry those big intentions with actions that back them up.
Sounds like it takes a lot of self-awareness, right? Like really knowing what you want and then being willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
But there's also this whole letting go thing that seems kind of like the opposite of that, right?
Yeah, you've hit on something that trips people up for sure. It's like, we're so programmed to hustle, gotta be in control, you know?
Oh, tell me about it.
But chapter 6, it dives right into that. And it talks about how important it is to just let go. You know that saying, a watched pot never boils?
Right.
It's kind of like that with manifestation. You set your intentions, you're doing the work, but then you got to surrender, let the universe do its thing.
That's the part where I feel like I'd overthink it. Like, okay, universe, I trust you. But is it cool if I just send one little email?
It's a balance. And the book talks about that, about finding that sweet spot between trusting the bigger picture and knowing what you want is already on its way.
It's like we plant the seed, we water it, we got to trust that it'll bloom in its own time, right?
Yeah.
No amount of staring at it's going to make it happen faster.
Exactly. And that actually ties into another big concept from the book, abundance mindset. Chapter 2 gets into this, and it's all about shifting from that not enough mentality to one where it's like, there's plenty to go around.
Okay, so instead of seeing life as like one pie, and if someone else gets a big slice, I get less.
Right.
It's more like we can all bake as many pies as we want.
Love that. It's about upgrading your whole system, right? Like imagine your computer's running on that old, slow operating system, and you're trying to download like massive files of opportunity. It's going to be a struggle.
Total spinning wheel of doom.
Exactly. The book says that switching to an abundance mindset, it's like upgrading to the latest and greatest. Suddenly you've got so much more bandwidth to handle whatever comes your way.
It's like trading in dial-up for fiber optic.
Okay.
So how do we actually DO that? Because it feels like we're kind of wired to focus on what we don't have, you know?
It's a process for sure.
Yeah.
The book suggests things like gratitude is a big one, like really taking time to appreciate what we do have, even the little things. It starts to shift our focus.
Retraining your brain to see the good stuff.
Totally.
Okay, so we're clear on what we want. We're visualizing, taking action, letting go, cultivating abundance. Anything else for our manifestation checklist?
Well, the book also talks about what to do when things don't go exactly as planned. Remember we talked about resistance earlier?
Oh yeah, those not so fun thoughts and fears that pop up.
Chapter 10 is all about that, and it's actually really reassuring because it's like, hey, this is normal.
Like welcome to being human, right?
Exactly. And it gives you tools to deal with those thoughts when they come up. Not about ignoring them, but facing them head on.
So less about good vibes only, more about like being real with yourself.
Exactly. A manifestation isn't about being happy all the time. It's about embracing all of it, even the messy stuff.
Because let's be real, those less than ideal feelings, they're going to show up at some point. It's about learning to work with them.
Exactly. That's where the real growth happens.
Yeah, it's so easy to get stuck in that, like, what's wrong? What's not working?
Yeah.
Headspace.
Totally. It's about flipping the script, right? Instead of I'll be happy when, it's what's there to appreciate right now, even if things feel kind of chaotic.
Finding those bright spots even when things are tough.
Yes. And, celebrating the wins, too.
Oh, yeah.
Chapter 11, it's all about recognizing those wins we manifest, no matter how big or small they are.
It's so easy to just check things off the to-do list and move right on to the next thing without even, like, acknowledging how far you've come.
Right. Like we're almost scared to celebrate, like it'll disappear if we do.
Totally.
But the book's saying celebrating is huge. It's like sending a signal to the universe. More of this, please.
Hey, universe, we crushed it. Thanks for that parking spot.
Exactly. That gratitude, that celebrating energy. It creates like a loop, bringing in more and more good stuff.
The more we talk about this, the more I'm realizing manifestation, it's not just about getting the stuff. It's about shifting your whole approach to life.
Right. 100%. It's about realizing we are powerful. We're manifesting all the time, whether we realize it or not. It's just when we line up our energy with what we want, that's when things really click.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Like, we've got way more power than we think. But it all starts with the stuff we do internally, right? The thoughts, the beliefs, all of that.
Absolutely. And speaking of taking action, what would you say, like if you had to pick one thing from this whole deep dive, what's the most useful thing someone listening could take and use today?
Ooh. Good question. For me, it goes back to getting super clear about what you want. Like, no more vague wishing.
Right.
We got to give the universe that detailed roadmap.
Love that. And I'd add to that, like, really connecting with the feeling of it, If you could snap your fingers and have it right now, what would that feel like? How would things be different?
Bringing it into the present, even if it's not here yet.
Yes. And then, of course, taking those steps we talked about. Because even the clearest intention needs some action behind it, right?
The universe rewards action. It's like, we got to meet it halfway. I like that.
Me too.
Well, that was amazing. Thanks for geeking out on this stuff with me.
Anytime.
And for everyone listening, keep those intentions high, those vibes positive, and remember, aligned action is where it's at. Until next time, keep exploring, and we'll catch you in our next deep dive.